Hey y'all, welcome back. So we are this weekend doing some stuff around the house as per usual these days. I'm building a sprinkler sled for the yard. Just give y'all an overview of what all you're going to need for this is I have two 20 foot total, two 10-foot sticks of 1/2-inch PVC. I have two of these Orbit. This is the way that I bought them with the little stake. I'm actually getting rid of the stake and just using the head. So an Orbit sprinkler, and you'll need, for the way I'm doing it, you'll need one cross. All of this is 1/2-inch hardware. Two thread slip 1/2-inch tees. One that is full slip. All three are slips. And what we mean by that, if you don't know, get around all this PVC. If you don't know, you have a 3 slip, which is all as it means, slip sides. This is a slip thread slip. So you've got your slips here, and then your center is threaded for 1/2-inch. And then you'll need 4 1/2-inch caps. One PVC hose adapter, and that does come in 1/2-inch. This is by Orbit as well. And then I'm going to put a quick connect on so I don't have to deal with all that. You'll also need some PVC glue. I picked up a new kit while I was there. Grand total, I want to say, for this sled is give or take about 60 bucks. That does depend. One is if you put in the cross, which isn't necessary, but I'm going to do it. We'll see that here in a minute. Just because the cross is probably like $5 on its own. And then it also depends which style Orbit you go with. That may make a difference. If you can find just the head, it might be a little cheaper, as well as if you go with a different style, it may be a little bit cheaper or more expensive, depending on how you do that. And then you just need a hacksaw, is what I'm using, a little sawzall, and a tape measure for what you're going to be cutting it, and then a Sharpie for marking. So given that, just give an overview of what we're going to end up doing is one of the 10-footers is going to stay on its own. We're going to just attach to either side, and you can adjust that for how your spray is. The other 10-footer is going to become legs. As you can tell, this one has a bend. It won't matter in mine, because what we're going to end up doing is cutting 2-foot sections. So we're going to end up cutting this out at 2-foot sections for the cross legs to keep this upright. So I'm going to mark everything and bring y'all right back. Alright, so I cut the 2-foot sections, which left me with an additional 2 foot, so I was actually able to cut that bend out. It lined up perfectly to where I just cut that part out and we won't use it. So what you'll end up doing here, clean off all your edges. You can take some sandpaper and deal with that. And then we'll go to gluing all this up. We'll mock it up, make it look good, and then we'll go from there. Really, this project probably take about 30 minutes total, and that's with me videoing it, so probably get it done in about 15, 20. So, like I said, we got 4 2-footers, 1 10-footer. One thing I probably should have thought about is this 10-footer. I probably would have taken it and made it 3/4, but everything I found, just everything came in half, so I was like, we'll go with that. So we'll run with that. And the only reason I say that is once you put all the weight on, that's a little wobbly. but it is sitting on the ground, so it should be fine. So I'm gonna get these edges cleaned up. Like I said, I'll get some sandpaper, clean those up a little bit, and then we'll go to gluing. We're already almost finished. So I didn't have any sandpaper, so I'm just using my knife and getting this trash out. All we're doing is making sure that, you know, once we glue it up, it's not going to lose any of these little bits and pieces into it, in order to not have to take everything apart and clean up filters or clean up, you know, any of that junk. That being said, if you look on here, it's got a little filter. If I can steal that, I will probably put it on this PVC adapter for no other reason than it's on here, but I believe that's due to all the sprays, and I don't know if this one has it. I know there was some others that have like mechanisms in them to where they rotate, so you don't want any of that plastic to get up in there, all that PVC junk, because that's going to mess up any of those mechanisms. So we're just going to clean these up a little bit. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just a little bit of extra step. So if you're watching this and you haven't gone to get everything, I would probably go ahead and just get some sandpaper. Doesn't have to be much of anything. It's just knocking these burrs off. So we'll see. You know, 6 months down the road, I may find out that I missed one and it got caught in there. But I think at that point, I'll probably be doing more work to it anyway, making some upgrades, making some changes. So that's enough of me rambling. We're gonna go ahead and we'll start gluing all this, because that looks like it should be plenty clean. So what we've got, like I said, we've got our 10-foot section. All we're gonna do is on this side, we will end up, actually, I just thought about why I need that extra 2 foot. Sorry. So I need this extra 2 foot because between the hose adapter, PVC hose adapter, and this T, or this cross, we're going to end up having a little pup piece that has to go in there, as well as between this cross and our first T. So you will be able to drop this and two 2-footers if you just wanted to do your hose adapter to your T. But I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and I'll make 2 pup pieces. Both of them will be about 6 inches long. So that'll give me an extra foot. So we'll see. I may end up doing something else later. But for the moment, yeah, I'm going to end up using, like I said, here's our 2 foot. It's got that slight bend in it. I'm going to end up pulling like a 4 to 6 inch. This doesn't have to be really measured. I am very particular about how things are, but a lot of this doesn't have to be measured. I'm going to end up, by the looks of it, you know what, I'm just going to go with a couple 3-inch pieces. And like I said, these aren't going to be exact, but they'll be pretty close. So let me cut those, clean them up. We'll be back. We're back. I did do my 3-inch pup pieces. So what we're going to end up doing, obviously right now we're just mocking it up, because once you glue it, it's not coming apart. But this will give you an idea. Like I said, this is a 3-inch pup piece. So once you put in your connectors, you're good there. And what I was talking about for the 2-footers, you're coming off to the sides, and then find my pup, your other pup piece here. And then you're going to want to have these. This is a thread slip for our first sprinkler head. You're going to want to have these pretty well squared up, because once you put it all together, you don't want it spraying off to the side somehow. You know, if you're sitting like here and you have it in at an angle, now you're spraying all goofy. So you want to have that 90 or squared. From that, like I said, here's your first set of legs. You're going to hook onto your 10-footer. And then we're going to rearrange some cameras to where you can actually see what I'm doing. And we'll have that set up in a second. All right, so laying down, you've got your hose connector, one set of legs, the thread slip for your first nozzle, for your first sprinkler head, and you've got your second one over here. You're also going to need, this is why we don't throw things away right away, one more of those pup pieces. So I will have a full list. I'm going to put everything together first. I'll put that at the beginning of the video. You'll just see this being my, hey, I had to do extra stuff. And then, so once I put that pup piece, yeah. We're just gonna get a general idea. Move your fingers before you cut. Good to go. That should be our last pup piece. Clean this one up real fast. I know y'all are sitting here with me, so trying to do this quickly but not cut my hand open. As said, sandpaper is a better idea, but I'm doing it my way. Alright, so pup piece T, square everything. Settle it. So that is that, and then you will have all of your caps. Like I said, you have 4 of these. They'll go on the ends of these legs. And then your sprinkler head itself, once you remove that stake is threaded and it will line up. I would recommend double checking just because, but I don't think I had any issue. I just got half inch threaded. I was able to remove this screen. You just have to reach in there, kind of pry at a little bit, but it'll pop out. And then if you wanted to, depending on how your water setup and water pressure is, you could, instead of having this T at the end, put a male threading, and then using one of the stakes, you got a cap, so you could just drop that on. But that's another section. You'll have to refer to how I did that part over there. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put it as is. And I think it looks good. So I'm going to end up coming back through here. I'll glue everything in. What I'll probably do is actually show how to do this, but purple primer and just a clear PVC cement. There's multiple kits. It's all in the same aisle, but yeah, I just grabbed that because it's pretty much standard for any of my projects. So I'm gonna get that started and have y'all either watch or not. So I'm just going to show the first connection, or the first gluing, how to do it. You'll just do it for all the connections, obviously. So I'm just going to start with what is actually our end leg and putting the cap on. I have not glued all of this, but we're going to take everything apart, re-glue it, call it good. So number one, always start with primer. I've done it without primer before. It doesn't seem to work as well as I planned, but you're just gonna get it on there. It's purple, and then same on this side, purple, purple, purple. And then come back on with your glue. Same thing, just dab it all up in there. Put it around your connector. This stuff does get messy, so if you don't want it on your tailgate, do not do it on your tailgate. So as you can see, everything went together. You will have a little bit of a purple, even though that's a clear glue. The purple is the primer. So it's all going to go on there. It's all going to look good. And what I normally do is I'll just line stuff out and go one section at a time. So we're just gonna wipe on there. Wipe inside of our T. Swap brushes. A little bit in there, a little bit on there. Obviously, with the straight joints, you don't have to tell, you know, whether or not you're 90'd yet. But whenever we get to this other section, that will be kind of important. So what I'll end up doing is doing the legs, doing the 10-footer, and getting the sprinkler heads on there and have them inline squared. Do the other set of legs, and then make sure that the sprinklers line up square with what I'm doing. And that just kind of keeps me from doing the entire project and then realizing that I'm out a little bit. So that's the heads up of what I'm dealing with. But as you've seen, there's a couple of connections that I've shown you how to do. So it does make a mess. Get that in there. And then I will move on and finish up the rest of this. Y'all can imagine me doing it because I'm not gonna video this entire process. So I'll be back when everything's together. We will show you that end product, and that'll be the video. All right, so here's a tip. I am going to put the thread slip on the leg because it's a lot easier to line up that than it is to line up 10 foot apart. You know what I mean? Another thing that I noticed is this here PVC hose connector actually does spin. So I'm not going to have to use this quick connect. I'll use that on the hose bib itself later on around the house. So just some things that as I'm putting it together hit me and went, well, that's a dumb moment. Like, you know, you would think I'd have thought of that. Nope. I thought about it as I'm doing it, which is better than thinking about it once it's finished. So anyway, here we are. And we're just gonna line these up. We know that that's pretty level. And you have a minute while you're letting it set that you can kind of get it adjusted. So take that half a second and make that adjustment where it works. You'll be a lot better. So good things to know. I'll probably have an overview. We'll find out. So this is finished product. So what we're looking at, I'm just going to give a real quick overview again of parts list due to the fact that, as y'all saw, I learn as I'm going. But we're going to start with a PVC hose connector. I know y'all can't really see, but y'all watch the video. PVC hose connector. We've got three 3-inch pup pieces. That's just the little PVC joints. 1 1/2-inch cross, 4 2-foot 1/2-inch PVC, 4 1/2-inch caps. We have a slip T at the end where the sprinkler heads are themselves. It is a thread slip 1/2-inch, and then a single 10-foot run of 1/2-inch PVC pipe. So that should get you the parts for here. We also used a primer and clear cement kit from Odie. Pick it up any hardware store, wherever you're finding PVC, you're finding this. And then we used a sawzall, Sharpie, and a tape measure as our tools. And you will also need a little bit of sandpaper. Just a single piece will work. You can find a scrap piece in your garage unless you're me and can't find anything, in which case I just used my pocket knife to cut the burrs off. And that should do it. Like I said, it probably took me about 30 minutes with everything. The longest part of this whole process is gluing each individual piece. So from there, we're gonna let it dry. I may throw up a video or a segment at the end that, hey, this actually works. So we'll see. From there, otherwise we'll see y'all next time.